Okay, I'm here in Adobe Fresco and I'm going to create a new document. For this project, we're going to do a square self-portrait. So I want you to choose the square option. Give it a second to make you a new file. I personally like to zoom in, or zoom out rather, once I have the document created so I can see all of the edges and I make sure that nothing is being cropped out. Then you're going to go up to the top right and click the little gear icon. And you are going to make sure that this switch that says Artboard Preview is turned on. So it's like dark gray rather than light gray. We want it to be dark gray, and that's going to be important when we do our photos here in just a second. So to add a photo, I'm going to go down to the bottom left. It is the second option up from the bottom. And I'm going to tap that, and then I'm going to tap Photos, and I'm going to choose my selfie that I took. I took a bunch of them. They were all bad, and so I'm going with this one. So I'm going here and I am just stretching this image. First of all, it is very important that I am stretching from this corner so that everything stays the same proportions. If I go like this, that's awful. That is truly horrifying to behold, and nobody wants to see that. Same thing if I grab it from the top. Like, look at that. Don't do that to yourself. Grab it from the corner so that it scales evenly. And you can try to fit your whole face. I'm going to have to cut off the top of my hair a little bit. You're trying to fit your whole face in that little square of the canvas that you did. I'm actually going to cut off some more of my hair just because I think that works better. And then I'm going to click done. And I have my photo on my little square canvas and I am ready to get started. So the important thing to remember when you're working with Adobe Fresco or really any sort of digital drawing tool is that you want to work in layers. So my layer panel is this little thing right here. So this is just the white background. This is sort of the default layer that came with it whenever I opened it. And then this is my image layer. Now, I personally think it's easiest to do this project if the image that you're seeing is not at full opacity, meaning it's not like fully like there and bright. It's a little bit easier if it's sort of transparent, so that it's not in your way as much, but only on the half that you're going to draw. That probably didn't make any sense, but I'm going to show you what I mean. So what I'm going to do is I am going to tap on the layer that is selected. You can tell which layer is selected because it has a blue square around it. I'm going to tap here and I'm going to tap duplicate layer. So now I have two of the exact same layer with the exact same photo. We're going to keep one of them at full opacity, and we're going to make one of them partial opacity. So that way we can see part of the photo, but not the other photo. Again, this is probably not making any sort of sense, but it's easier once you've actually seen it. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to create a new layer by choosing this little thing right here, this box with the plus sign. That's going to make a new layer on top. I am going to divide my image however I want to. I'm going to show you a couple of options. So I'm going to divide mine, I think, with white. And I am choosing a vector brush. That is the third one down. A vector brush kind of looks like this. A pixel brush kind of looks like this. Let's make it a little bit bigger so that you can see. So one of them has some texture. The other one has less texture. It's up to you. You can choose whatever one. I'm going to choose a vector one. When I tap on the brush, these little icons show up. So the circle at the top is what color it is. The number is what size it is, and you can drag this up and down. You can also just touch the number and drag up and down, and it sort of changes it without having to open that menu. This one, the little squiggly line, is the smoothing. I currently have smoothing turned up to 100%, so let me show you what that looks like. Okay, it's a nice smooth line. If I turn it down to 0%, do you see how less smooth that line is? Same thing, like, let me show you real quick. We'll turn smoothing all the way back up. And I'm going to do my little line to divide it. Aren't y'all so blessed that you just get to stare at this image of me? And then now I'm going to turn smoothing all the way back down. And I'm going to try to do that same thing. And do you see how much worse my line looks? You don't necessarily have to have smoothing all the way at 100%. You can also, turn it to like 50 or 60% or whatever. For the line going down the middle, I would kind of say maybe do it at 100%. For some of the other lines later on, maybe you wouldn't. But for this one, I'm going to say maybe 100% might be your friend here. So I'm going to do like this. You can also just kind of do like this. We looked at that one example where they had drawn a heart. So you could do like that if you wanted to, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to do this because this is what I feel like doing. Okay, so I've divided the face. And again, I am on a different layer. If we go back to the layers panel, okay, I've got my white background, this layer that kind of automatically came with the document whenever I opened it. I can delete that layer if I want to. 2 identical photos, and now this layer that I'm drawing on right now where I have created that dividing line. So now I'm going to go back to my other layers, and I am going to go to this bottom layer, okay, not the bottom layer, but the bottom photo layer, okay. I'm going to tap that, and then I am going to go up to this little area right here where these little sliders are, and I am going to lower the opacity of that layer to around 50%. So if you're looking on here, you can kind of start to see that now I have one layer that is fully opaque and one layer that is more transparent. Now, I am going to tap on the top photo layer, the one that is fully opaque. And then once I have that, I'm going to tap on it again, and it's going to open this menu. And I am going to choose the second option up from the bottom that says Convert to Pixel Layer. Nothing really changed, but that's going to be important here in just a second. Now I'm going to go over to the left sidebar, and I'm going to choose the lasso tool. It is this one right here. It looks kind of like a jagged line with like a dotted line around it. It's about in the middle, about halfway down. And then I'm going to choose which side of the face it is that I'm going to draw, and I'm going to select that side of the face. So I am going to draw, let's say I'm going to draw the left side of the face. So I am going in with my lasso tool, and I am just drawing a line. So here with my lasso tool, I am drawing a line because I want to select everything that is on this side of the face. Now let me show you real quick what will happen if I just draw this line. Okay, so it brings it up and it sees that I've just drawn a line instead of drawing a shape. So it asks, do I want to cancel or do I want to close the lasso? So if I choose close the lasso, it just kind of like draws a line straight back up to where I started. And then if I try to erase it, that's what it does. That's not very helpful. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to draw that line again, but this time I'm going to close it myself instead of letting them close it. So I'm going to do that by drawing my line all the way down the way I want it to look. And then when I get down here to the bottom, I'm going to go all the way around because I want this whole side selected. And it does not really matter how like neat this is until I connect back to here. And then I have this whole side of the face selected, and I can just choose erase. And if you look at what happened over in the layers panel, this side of my face, the right side of my face, is still there. I have deleted the left side of my face, and now I can see the transparent image that is behind it that contains the original photo. So then I can go down here to the bottom and click deselect. And then I have something that is pretty good but not quite perfect. So if I zoom in here, I can see that I did sort of miss this section right here. So I'm just going to grab my eraser. I'm going to make sure that my eraser is not too big. I am making sure that I am on the correct layer. So I don't want to be on this one that's transparent. I want to be on this one that's opaque. And I can just sort of go in and clean that up a little bit. Then I can zoom back out, and I have my photo where I am ready to start drawing. So I have this side, which is going to stay exactly like this. I have this side, and this is where I'm going to do my drawing. And this is what I said, it is a little bit easier because if I just go over here and start drawing, like if I just want to start sketching over here on this side, It's kind of hard to see where my lines are. In like the lighter areas of my face, I can see them, but some of these darker areas, I can't even see where I put the lines, which is why I find it easier to have these transparent areas where I can clearly see what it is that I am drawing. Now, something I want you to notice that I did here. This line that I just drew is on this layer. It is on the same layer as my photo, which is not what we want. So I'm going to undo that line. I have this layer, which is my transparent photo. Well, eventually you will not be able to see that. You'll turn that layer off. I have this one, which is the original photo that's going to stay. This is going to become a permanent part of my artwork. I have this one where I have the line, and now I need another one where I'm going to do the drawing of the face. So I'm going to go up here and add another layer. And I do want to keep it underneath the line, so that way when I'm drawing like here, it doesn't end up accidentally overlapping the white line. So I want the white line to always be at the top, then my drawing layer, then my photo layer. Eventually, again, we will turn this one off so you don't even see it anymore, but we need the rest of the drawing to do that. I'm not going to do the whole drawing right now, especially because y'all are all going to do different sorts of styles and stuff. You can go back and look at the examples on Google Classroom, but I am always wanting to make sure that I am on this layer whenever I am drawing. You can, sketch it however you want to. Some people even find it useful to do like sort of a sketch of how you want it to look, just like really rough and sketchy and not trying to like, make it look perfect, whatever. And then add another layer on top of that, lower the opacity of this layer, and then come back with some cleaner lines where you can sort of see your sketch and do your drawing on top of that. You're welcome to do that. You're welcome to not do that, whatever you would find to be the easiest for you. But you're going to do some kind of drawing. You're going to do some kind of coloring. You can, if you're wanting to do some more sort of natural colors, you can come over here to this little color selection tool and like kind of poke around here until you find something that's like your skin color, and then use that to color in your skin color. Same thing with like your eye color. Use that to color in your eyes and your hair color. This is looking more and more horrifying the further we get into this. So if yours looks horrifying, just know that we have that in common. But you can use this little color picker tool to find colors from your original photo, but you also don't have to do that. Remember, you can do pink and purple and orange and like whatever you want to. But if you are wanting to find the original colors, you can use this color picker tool to find some of those. At this point, it is pretty much up to you how you would like to proceed. You're going to come in and do whatever kind of drawing it is you want to do, whatever kind of style it is that you want to do. You're going to do that. When you're done with that, I would then go in to this layer. I am on the transparent background layer. You're going to click a little eyeball to hide that. That's going to kind of give you a little bit of a check-in to see if you've missed any little spots that you didn't notice, whatever, or just give you this horrifying image. But, then you can turn it back on, come back and fix some things, turn it back off. Eventually, it should be ready to turn in when you can turn this layer off and the entire side is filled in and complete looking. So that's how you'll know that your image is ready to turn in. When you feel like your image is ready to turn in, you will go up to the share sheet at the top right. That's the little box with the arrow coming up. You can do a quick export, and that will save. You can do here, you can do save image, and that will save the image to your camera roll. You're also going to click this share sheet and do publish and export, and you are going to do a time-lapse export. So you're going to turn in two different files to me. You're going to turn in the final photo, but you're also going to turn in a time-lapse of your process as you're working, just because I think it's super fun to like look at that process. You'll see, I don't know how long the video is at this point, but I've been working for 10 minutes or something like that. And my time lapse is relatively short, just like a few seconds long. Yours will probably be a little bit longer because you're going to work a little bit longer. But I do think it's super fun to see your process and see how you work and see what it looks like and just at the end so you can kind of reflect on what it is that you have done. So it is your turn to work now. If you need any help or anything like that, please let me know and I'll be happy to do whatever I can for you.